Thank you very much, Tom, for this kind introduction. And hello, everybody. Thank you for being here and for your interest in what Julian and myself are going to share with you about this recent work that we completed about the TARCiS statement. I would like to start out by introducing three additional subjects or collaborators of us. So you have heard about Julian and about myself, but there is also Thomas Nordhausen and Thomas Fürst and Hannah Ewald, who were part of our core team to develop the TARCiS statement. And most importantly, on the right side of the slide, you can see all those excellent collaborators that we could recruit to join our Delphi study. And it was I think I can speak for all of us, it was a privilege for us to work or to collaborate with all of these with these people and have their knowledge and their training contribute to what we did. And with this, I will already hand over to you, Julian.
Thank you very much, Christian, and also a warm welcome from my side. I'd like to introduce you to some basics and definitions before I talk about the TARCiS idea and aims, and a little introduction into the fundamental scoping review of TARCiS, and we'll then hand over to Christian again for the development of the TARCiS statement and the core of this session, I guess, the presentation of the TARCiS statement. Yeah. So let me introduce by saying that in general, systematic reviews or evidence synthesis in healthcare, they are conducted using several information sources or search strategies, search methods. One of these commonly recommended is electronic database searching. But there are supplementary search methods which are presented in methods guidance. For example, when you look in the Cochrane handbook, but also by others. And what are these supplementary search methods? For example, one could search the web, and one could search archives of archives of stored journals or conference proceedings or any other sources that is not indexed or typically not indexed in electronic databases. One could ask experts in the field, and the focus of our session today, one could use citation searching. Citation searching comprises multiple methods. And maybe Christian, next slide, thank you. So typically we have so-called seed references that form the start of a citation search. And based on these seed references, you may identify citation references. And for example, in principle, you can use citation searching as a supplementary search method or technique. For example, when you already conducted a database search and you already identified eligible publications for your specific evidence synthesis. Or a second option, if you only rely on citation searching, seed references could have been identified by whatever. For example, you know them from a previous evidence synthesis, or you know them from a preliminary search or from expert consultations, etc., etc. The basic principle of citation searching relies in that it involves several directions. Based on a seed reference, which is shown here in the middle of the slide, you can search for cited references. Typically, these are the references in the reference list. We call it backward citation searching. Backward also for back in time. And the other way around, you have citing references that cite a specific seed reference. That is what we call forward citation searching. And for our publication, we illustrated the different directions and citation searching methods by this figure. Christian will later show it as well, and I only want to make I only want to say that we have these different directions, back in time, forward in time, but also they are connected differently. Some papers are connected directly because they cite each other, and others are connected indirectly. So for example, you can have a reference in your reference list, which was cited by your current seed reference, but in that reference from that reference list could have been cited by a completely different reference, which is not connected directly to my seed reference. So we have two main citation searching techniques. It is direct and indirect. And within these, we are searching for cited and citing references when we search direct. And in indirect, we have the so-called co-cited and co-citing references. Let me focus on the cited references. And the old way was a lot of work, a lot of papers. Typically, researchers and reviewers checked reference lists manually. Nowadays, we know a couple of, and probably even more now, but the slide was created a couple of months ago. The more modern way is using so-called citation indexes for forward and backward citation searching, and indirect and direct, because the references can be obtained electronically. And some of them are open access. For example, you may know OpenLX, iCite, Google Scholar, Semantic Scholar, etc. Yeah, sorry, that was just an amendment. And yeah, what you should keep in mind is that based on one or more seed references using one citation index, you may find only a fraction, or you will find only a fraction of citing papers. And using another citation index may find another fraction of citing papers. And of course, then also relevant papers for your evidence synthesis. What you should keep in mind is that you may never find all by using only one citation index. And that is why we would like to introduce another technique, the so-called iterations. Imagine you are searching for citing references based on one or more seed references, and you will find some more relevant articles. You can use these articles again as seed references and repeat your citing search. And you may find another couple or single eligible publications, and so on and so on. But yeah, some open questions, of course. Should we use citation searching as a standalone method or as a supplement method in addition to database searching? How many citation indexes should we use? What should be the seed references? And by the way, should we use citation searching or not? Should we manually screen references, etc.? Just some of the ideas that came up during the first steps of developing the TARCiS statement. And that is why we wanted to add some guidance on already available guidance. For example, Prisma S, the Prisma statement for search, for reporting systematic searches. They have an item about citation searching, which is very informative, I would say. But still, there are some open questions. For example, should we search for cited references by checking the reference lists, the titles only, and not the abstracts, for example? Can we rely on a single citation index? Can we rely on a single citation search iteration, or should that be more? How and should we collect co-citations? And how should we call all these methods? And that is why we, in 2021, we set up a protocol to develop a methods guidance and reporting recommendations for citation searching. And our idea was to perform a scoping review as an evidence-based first step to see how what says the evidence about the use and benefit of the scope of citation searching, and then to consent a standard, a methodological standard for the conduct and reporting of citation searching. So we had 3 questions. What is the benefit of citation searching in our field, health-related topics? Which methods and indexes and other tools are used to conduct it? And what terminology is used to describe citation searching methods? And then with the Delphi to develop recommendations for citation searching, and also to identify preferred reporting items and a standard terminology. In our scoping review, we identified a total of 50 eligible records, and a little more than half of them only were identified via database searches. And we our own did citation searching with a couple of citation indexes and iterations, as long as we could not find further eligible records. I will give you now some quick and important results. So the studies that assessed citation searching, probably the majority did not use several iterations. We said probably no and probably yes, in addition to definitely no and definitely yes, because sometimes, as you can imagine, it was not properly reported. But for citation indexes, in the majority of the studies, a single or no citation index was used. And the most prominent citation searching methods were backward and forward. The purpose of citation searching was mostly using citation searching as a supplementary method, not as a primary or standalone method. And most of the studies assessed, next to the benefit, also technical uses and compared different citation searching methods. An added value, we did see an added value in almost all studies that assessed citation searching. And I would now give you two examples for an added value and not an added value. We found a paper on, it was an evidence synthesis on complex public health interventions, and a complex topic, more complex research questions. And as you can see in the abstract, only 30% of the eligible publications or studies were identified via the traditional sources. And most of them were identified via snowballing, or what they call snowballing, and we identified as a method of citation searching. So it could be that so-called hard to search topics may profit or benefit from citation searching. Another example, it is more a straightforward traditional PICO question on a specific topic, but here the added value was 0. So they stated citation tracking and searching of the trial registries did not lead to any further inclusion of primary studies. Could be that more easy to search topics, more straightforward research questions such as PICO may not benefit necessarily from citation searching. But yeah, we are still in the beginning. These were only 2 cases in our scoping review. And I would like you now to introduce to the terminology that we use. I need to say at this point that this is all already a result of the TARCiS statement. But I think to better understand what Christian will tell you in the following, we need to introduce this terminology now. As I already said, we use the umbrella term citation searching that comprises several methods. For example, when you search cited references, we call it backward citation searching. In the opposite, when you search for citing, we call it forward citation searching. And for all these terms, we found a couple of synonyms used in the literature. For example, citation tracking, citation chasing, etc. For backward citation searching, searching reference lists, checking references, reference tracking, etc. Just to give you an idea about the heterogeneity of all these methods and the importance of giving a little bit of structure here and standards. Forward citation searching, called as citing reference searching, forward citation tracking. And then in the co-citation, sometimes called at co-citation searching, co-cited reference searching, bibliographic coupling, co-cited reference searching, etc. What I call seed references had a lot other expressions. Seed articles, key articles, relevant articles, source articles, etc. And of course, there is not there was a very huge heterogeneity. And yeah, by saying this, I would like to hand over to you, Christian. I think.
Thank you very much. I hope you can now hear me.
Yeah.
I just added this note ambiguity. So this was one of the major problems we realized during the scoping review, that authors would call different things by the same terms, which is, of course, a problem. Okay. I will continue with the development and the publication of the TARCiS statement. So this is the first part of the workflow, and this is just to show you that this is what Julian just introduced and what resulted in this published scoping review, and which set up the evidence base for our later work, for our later steps. And the later steps were, as Julian also already said, a Delphi study. It was a 4-round online Delphi study where we started out with many terms, with many draft recommendations, with draft research priorities that were then supplemented, discussed, modified through these 4 rounds to result in the final statement, which we then composed into a manuscript, which was published last year in the BMJ. And I would now like to actually show you kind of the core of the statement, which is box number 1 in this BMJ paper. And I know that this is too small for you to read, but this is also not the rationale of this talk, I think. We believe you can all read this yourselves, and we hope you will read it, you will use it, you will cite it. And I would so far just like to talk about what this box actually conveys. So this box conveys 10 recommendations on terminology, conduct and reporting of citation searching, and I will talk about these in more depth in a minute. And in the lower part, it also adds 4 research priorities, and also there I will cherry pick some of these priorities. Okay. There is also a website that we set up where you can very conveniently read these recommendations and research priorities, and where you can also download the reporting item checklists and all of that stuff. So this is tarcis.unibas for University of Basel.ch from Switzerland. Okay, and now while talking about the actual statement, I would first like to start with terminology and reporting, so to say the end of TAR. So it's the terminology and the reporting, and this is best actually summarized by introducing you to this terminology and reporting item checklist, which is there for download as a PDF or as a Word file, very similar to the Prisma checklist. And the upper part of this checklist introduces the terms as Julian has just done in the PowerPoint. And I'm just here highlighting the seed references, and then there is a description. So seed references stands for relevant articles which are known beforehand and used as a starting point of any citation search, for instance. In the lower part, then we have reporting items. And these start out with the seed references, the citation searching method, the search date, number of iterations that were used, the citation indexes and the tools that were used, a deduplication method. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. The screening method that was used for citation searching results, and then in the results section also how the citation searching results, the number of citation searching were reported. And this is also detailed in the next slides. You all know this, of course, the Prisma flow diagram, and the Delphi panel agreed that citation searching results should actually be fed into the right column of the Prisma flowchart, so via the other methods, not via the database and register searches. Okay. And number 6 here now is about the remainder of of the recommendations, and so about the recommendations that deal with the application of citation searching. And instead of reading these recommendations to you, I have chosen to actually show you this graphically, and I have tried to fit all of these recommendations into this graphic. So let us go through that. So TARCiS strictly recommends supplementary citation searching. And remember, Julian also introduced that there were methodological papers and the possibility of using citation searching as a standalone method, but this is not what TARCiS recommends. And supplementary citation searching means that citation searching kicks in only after the primary search is over. And that means that eligible records have been identified, and so all of the results have been screened and these records have been identified, and these records can then feed as seed references into citation searching. And after that, whether or not citation searching is actually being performed, we believe depends on the topic. And I am very certain about this, that this is a major message of TARCiS and of this talk also, that that our statement does not only teach people or suggest people how to perform citation searching, but it may also be used as a rationale to actually for an informed omission of citation searching. And I think this is very important. So we are not believing that every systematic reviewer should or must actually apply citation searching. And as a rule of thumb, for topics that are in quotes easy to search, and I'm just telling you what I mean with this. I mean using clear-cut and highly specific vocabulary, for instance, and having very clear disciplinary borders, very clear or obvious databases that must be searched for that topic. These are features of easy to search for topics. And in this case, TARCiS actually does not recommend to use citation searching. TARCiS does recommend does warmly or strongly recommend citation searching for difficult to search for topics. Now, difficult to search for topics, it could be about policy making or public health, using vague vocabulary, ambiguous vocabulary, having unclear disciplinary borders. You're not really sure if this is now rather psychological or sociological or medical or maybe biological or whatever. So in this case, TARCiS recommends citation searching. And citation searching, depending on resources and on workflows, can actually be boiled down to manual reference list checking. And this can be fit into a systematic review workflow, for instance, together with data extraction. Or electronic citation indexes are being used. And in this case, TARCiS recommends both directions, so backward and forward citation searching on the included records, with one or with several citation indexes. Several citation indexes because evidence found that they actually, in every case, they complement each other. And after this, these records have been obtained electronically. This is what happens when you do it with citation indexes. They should be downloaded, obviously, and then subjected to deduplication. And with deduplication, we mean that records that appear as in backward and forward direction, for instance, that they are eliminated, or the duplicates are eliminated. If several citation indexes were used, duplicates are eliminated. And very importantly, we suggest also to remove duplicates with the primary search results. And this can all be done within one deduplication step. Okay, then TARCiS recommends that the eligibility screening on these deduplicated citation searching results should follow exactly the same method as the primary search eligibility screening. This is important. So if the primary eligibility screening was done by 2 independent reviewers, so should the citation searching results. And finally, if new unique records that are relevant for the review are found, then these can actually be, the latter 3 steps, they can be repeated. And this is what we call iterative citation searching, which Julian also already introduced. Okay, so this was the workflow of supplementary citation searching according to TARCiS. And let me now move a little bit into the future. So something that we also deduced from the statement. And with this, I come to the research priorities. And I would like to highlight 2 of them. One of them is the effectiveness and applicability and conduct of indirect citation searching methods. Remember the slide that Julian showed? As supplementary search methods in systematic reviews require further research. And second, defining topics or at least determinants of topics where citation searching likely or not likely has additional value. These are open questions that we need to tackle in the future and that we would like to try to tackle. So the indirectly retrieved references, which are found here in the light blue boxes, so there are certain indications that these references are actually more closely related to the seeds than the direct references. So the dark blue boxes. And these indications that are found in the literature, or this fact is actually used by many of these new artificial intelligence-based tools that retrieve literature. So there is a wealth of information in these indirectly retrieved references. But the problem with these references is that their volume is way too large to make it feasible. Or if a researcher retrieves indirect, so co-citing and co-cited references, the sensitivity is far over the specificity and also the feasibility of such a project. So we concluded from that indirect citations, they will never find their way into practice without a decent cutoff and ranking procedure. And this is actually the basis for the project that we launched now about a year ago, I think. We published our protocol in OSF, and this is called ranked indirect citation searching versus unranked direct citation searching for evidence retrieval. And with unranked direct citation searching, we actually mean this is what everybody does. This is what we have included in the TARCiS statement, and this is citing and cited references where you just use all of them. Okay, so how could the ranking look like? We inspired our ranking from a very clever publication, I think, from Christopher Belter, that was published some years ago already, but I think that has not found its way so much into practice. And what we would actually like to do is we would like to create an automation tool that actually accomplishes this ranked indirect citation searching, or RICS as we call it. And this tool should be called Ranked Co-Citation Network. And what we would like to do with this tool is we would like to compare UDCS, and I'm repeating myself, UDCS is just normal citation searching, to this new RICS method that would work according to the Belter algorithm. And after we have developed this tool, we have already moved quite far ahead with that, so it's almost ready. We would actually like to implement a RICS cutoff that best matches the volume of UDCS results. And this is to make this practically feasible. So we don't want systematic review authors to be confronted with a very high volume of supplementary search results, which they have to screen and which they don't like to screen, of course. We will continue this probably in spring this year with a case study. So this case study will be an active systematic review that we are conducting ourselves. And here we would like to use UDCS and RICS parallel to each other, and then see if RICS was more effective in retrieving unknown relevant literature. We would like to publish that. And with this publication, and with the tool that is ready to use, we would like to form a research consortium in the middle term future, and then have a time window over several years where systematic review teams can actually join and use this ranked co-citation network and compare on their own reviews UDCS with RICS. So the cost of participation is, I would say this is a little more work because you have to do citation searching twice. But there are also benefits, and these benefits are a co-authorship on our resulting publication that we would like to publish in the end. You can apply cutting-edge SR methodology in your own project, and maybe you get a potentially better coverage of the relevant literature there. Okay, and then what remains is we would like to analyze and publish all of this UDCS RICS comparisons. And what we would like to do in parallel is we would like also to analyze the determinants of topics where citation searching might have additional value, because these data we get at the same time with these submitted results from the consortium. Okay. I think this is the moment where I thank you for your attention, or we thank you for your attention, and I would love to hand over back to Tom. And if you have questions, of course, Julian and I will be ready to answer.